a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad, I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad, I'm back.
Yo, what's happening? It's the Big D from the Big D Show. As you can see, we've kind of changed things and moved things around here. Wanted to kind of switch up the way that I was actually recording the show. So hopefully this is a better situation for us. Be able to utilize my computer more. Still using my iPhone for my video work, but I'm not using a microphone on the iPhone because the iPhone audio was just terrible. It's just terrible. So it's a little better for me to use my handy dandy snowball microphone here, and then I could utilize some of the noise reduction and all that kind of stuff on my computer, which would make for the sound a little bit better or whatever. You can hear my voice a little bit better. I thought maybe the videos were suffering for that reason, so I apologize if any of the early videos are not great. But let's get in here today and let's discuss some things. We're going to cover a couple of stories today. I'm probably going to make a few videos today just because I got so much material to kind of discuss. I don't think that we could put it all in one show because I don't think you want to sit here for like an hour doing the same thing over again. I'd rather have it like 25, 30 minutes tops, and then we call it quits, and then we make another one, right? So that's probably what we're going to do. So let's jump right in here and see this first story. Y'all see how I got it now? You can actually see, the article that I'm reading and all that stuff, and you can see some of the things that I stumble over and struggle with too. So, letter of intent, helpful or ammunition. This has come from OK Development 64 in the divorce Reddit, right? So, it says there, my spouse wants me to sign a letter of intent that says I will not only be attending an anger management program, but also that I will be taking accountability for my anger problem that has persisted for our marriage. I'm happy to do so as it will make them feel more comfortable. I will admit that I've gotten angry in the past. However, where things get complicated is my current therapist, who specializes in anger and power dynamics, has said that he doesn't feel like I have an anger problem, and that I am experiencing emotional abuse and my outbursts are a form of reactive abuse. Oh, wow. This is getting interesting, right? Right? So we got a battle of the minds going on here. Look like she's angling for one way and the therapist is like, nah, hold up, wait a minute. So an old therapist of mine also mentioned I didn't seem to have an anger issue, and a couples therapist even said that they felt that my spouse was going into therapy looking for the therapist to get me to change my behaviors. So these trained professionals aren't concerned with my anger in a way that would necessitate going to a program. Several outside people, friends, colleagues, family, have commented about the imbalance of my relationship and how I am bending over backwards to appease my spouse with what appears to be little to no reciprocation or accountability on their end. Many people have recently approached me to say that the way I am treated is not okay. They're saying it seems unfair how many hoops I'm made to jump through. What makes it more confusing is that a lot of these people have done so separately and don't interact with one another. So I wanted to keep the peace and want to deliver this on I want to keep the peace and want to deliver on this non-negotiable my spouse has placed on me. All right, so this seems like it's a very interesting situation here, right? So from what I'm hearing is there's a little bit of a battle going on. It looks like the spouse is saying, hey, listen, you got anger issues. You got to kind of take care of your problem here. And I need you to sign this paper saying that you have anger issues and that you're going to get help for it or whatever. And so you're going to also take accountability for it. So I don't know about this, you know, on the surface, it sounds like, okay, that's cool because the person is concerned about maybe you do have some anger issues, you've gotten angry, and now you need to get that fixed. But we can't discount the fact that some people will gaslight you at the same time, right? Um, they might look at the situation and be like, okay, I'm the one who doesn't want to change. And so I'm gonna try to force this person into this particular identity and into this particular mold, and that way I can get the upper hand. If I can say that this person is angry, whether it be a man or a woman, if I can say that they're angry, then obviously they're the ones who need to change, and I don't have to particularly do nothing myself, right? As far as changing. So that's a little bit of what I'm seeing here. So, um, the actual signing of a letter of intent and all that, um, that tells me that they're angling for something legally as well. Because they kind of want you to sign your name to something on some paper, and it's like almost like an admission of guilt. You're admitting that you're guilty, and the first thing that they're gonna do when they get in front of whoever, the judge or whoever, when a situation arises or a mediator or something, say, "Oh, but look, he signed or she signed this piece of paper." And so they know they have it because why would they sign the paper? So they're just hoping that you're dumb enough to sign something or put your name on something that they've kind of come up with. And in any type of situation that could turn legal like that, I don't think it's a smart idea to go signing your name on stuff. Especially when it's accusatory to you, whether it's you're at fault or not, you probably shouldn't sign your name to that. You probably should let a lawyer kind of litigate and handle that for you. And just tell that person, I'm not signing that. So, I'm not putting my name on something that you could use against me. It's almost like you're incriminating yourself. Maybe you actually did the activity, or maybe you didn't, but you're going to be incriminating yourself. And I think this is being used as a way to just kind of rope this person into a self-admission of some type of crime. And that's not, that's not cool, right? So you have to understand people is conniving. And I think about this in this way. I feel like people will try to put you in a situation that's bad for you and great for them. So I wouldn't do that. And especially now he's talking about he's gone to his therapist and all that. This therapist specializes in anger and power dynamics. So this therapist has heard the story at least from one side. Probably needs to hear it from the other side as well. But it sounds to me like the therapist is saying that you're being reactionary from the stories and the way that it's told or whatever. It sounds like you're reacting to something, not, initiating something. So that's interesting. I mean, we have to take the professionals' advice. We have to take the professionals' viewpoint because they can see a little bit better than what we can see, right? They've dealt with this a lot. So typically they're not supposed to put their personal feelings into it or whatever. They're supposed to just look at the situation and tell you what's up from what they see, right? So it's interesting that he's been to not one, but a few therapists, right? So he's got this therapist. He has an old therapist of his or hers that said that they don't seem to have an anger issue, but a lot of people don't. Maybe you get around other people and you don't, but when you're around your family, you might act differently, right? I think we all might have a little bit of that where, maybe we're a little more free around the people that we love and we know, and the people that know us better, we'd be a little more free around. So that's very possible. But the old therapist said that he didn't seem to have an anger issue, or she didn't have the issue. And the couples therapist, apparently they were going to couples therapy, said that they felt that his spouse or her spouse was going into therapy looking for the therapist to get me to change my behavior. So maybe their motive for going into therapy to begin with, or the couples therapy, which is a lot of people's idea, is if I take them to someone else that agrees with what I say, then I'm going to be vindicated. So they're not going in looking at like, okay, maybe I need to learn something about myself, find out how I'm contributing to this situation, as well as how my partner is. And I think therapy requires you, for it to be effective, it requires you to look inside, right? Say, okay, this is the part that I'm playing. Maybe this is something I didn't understand about myself. And I need to maybe look at what I'm doing. If I can't change totally, I need to at least be mindful that I have this particular tendency, or I might be affected in a certain way, right? So you want to be able to kind of internalize when you go to therapy. You don't go to therapy looking for them to validate what you already feel and what you already think. And so the couples therapist already said that this may be the case. They're bringing you here because they want me to tell you that they're right, which is crazy, right? So he's saying the trained professionals aren't concerned with my anger in a way that would necessitate going to a program. Doesn't mean that this person doesn't have anger issues and stuff like that, right? Doesn't mean that. But he's also saying now, friends, colleagues, and families, he says, have commented about how their relationship is imbalanced. Other people from the outside looking in can see what's going on in the relationship, right? So that tells you a lot too, because you've got people who he are saying they're independent. They don't hang out with each other. They don't conversate with each other as far as this person knows. And they're all coming up to the same conclusion and they're saying the same thing. So that might tell you something too. So maybe your partner is the one who's toxic. Maybe they're the one who actually has some issues and are gaslighting and creating issues. Sounds to me like they're creating issues and then going, "Oh my God, woe is me. I've been wronged." When they created the issue so that they could be wronged, right? And then they're not willing to look at themselves and say, "Hey, I need to change." I haven't heard from the other side or whatever. I'm sure if we got the other side, we'd have a whole other story. It'd be painted in a different way with a whole different brush, right? But all I'm saying is, like, if you really want to make your relationship work and you want to avoid divorce, or the big D, you need to be introspective. You need to look inside and say, I'm not perfect. I need to make some changes. I need to be aware. I need to fix me, right? You can't be trying to use other people to try to fix your spouse and the other person or whatever. It's not going to work. So I would say in this situation, don't sign a letter of intent or anything like that. They're just trying to trap you into a situation where they feel like they've got you in a situation where you can't maneuver and you've already committed to something that maybe you didn't intend to commit to. I'd be very careful in that situation. Don't be signing your name on papers and stuff like that or whatever. I would just totally put the crossover on that. You know what I'm saying? Woo, crossover, Jamal Crawford style. You know what I'm saying? I can't, that ain't gonna work, baby. So let's get to this next one here. It is in the divorce Reddit. It says, my divorce is going to trial. See what, did we just talk about this? Signing your name on something before you even get to that point, and all of a sudden you in the middle of a trial, and all of a sudden this paper comes out, right? Boom. Hey, judge, look what I got. His name is on it. Well, let's see what, a canvas, is it a maximum? I don't know, but it's a long name. We ain't gonna pretend that we could get through that one there. So I tried to sound it out phonetically and grab a couple of words, and I was like, damn, it's just too long. But my divorce is going to trial. Let's see what's going on here. It says, I would love to hear from others. We would too. So comment, like, subscribe. You know what it is. I would like to hear from others who have gone through this. I filed for divorce a year ago in January, and it has been a huge mess. My husband had an affair, and after I found out, he lost it. He threatened suicide multiple times in front of our kids. He is an alcoholic who is only granted supervised visitation right now, and he won't even agree to that. He gaslights and tries to manipulate our kids. He put his hands on me multiple times, didn't hurt me, thankfully, but tried to intimidate me. So now I'm terrified that this is going to be so expensive. I have full custody and I have had the same lawyer since I filed. He does not have a lawyer because the first one dropped him, and I don't know what happened with the other. I have a CPO on him, custody something protection order maybe or something on him. I have a CPO on him until January 2026, so we don't communicate. He won't stop drinking or agree to be monitored to see his kids. He wants half of my retirement, but hasn't worked in 4 to 5 years. I don't understand how this is getting dragged out so long. I just want the marriage ended. All right, so this is a tough one right here, man. So there's a lot going on here, especially when you start to add substance abuse to the mix. This is a person that's not going to be in their right mind, right? So he's definitely not, in the right mind to actually even go through this process, which is already stressful as it is. And so he's acting out. And this is the reality of it, though. When we marry people and we say, hey, I'm going to be with you until death do us part, and then death doesn't come before you part, this is what happens. So he had an affair, and after that, he lost it when she found out, right? So he was sane enough to get with a second woman when you already got a woman and kids. You're sane enough to do that, but you're not sane enough to kind of control yourself when you get caught. So I'm gonna say this: cheating is a man's game. Cheating is not for the rookies, right? What Biggie said: only for live men, not for freshmen. If you gonna cheat, but you're not strong enough to handle the weight of what you're gonna do, you probably shouldn't cheat. If you're not strong enough for her to know that you're cheating or find out, you probably shouldn't cheat. I know when I got married, I told my ex-wife one thing. I said, listen, if I'm going to cheat on you, you're going to know first. I'm not going to let you find out in the street. You're going to know first, because before I do it, I'm going to call you and tell you that I'm going to do it. Right? So until you get that phone call, it ain't happened. Because I don't really want to deal with that. I had a wife. I had her daughter, whatever. I got 2 ladies in my life. What I need with a third? I'm not trying to add a third. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're not built for that, and you're not built for the fire that comes with that, do not stick your hand in that fire. Don't go touching the stove knowing it's hot and you can't handle it. So it looks like, he's losing his mind, and I think he really just wants to keep things together and going the way that it's going, and then he wants to be able to cheat on the side or whatever, do his thing. He's threatening suicide and stuff like that. What I don't like is that you're doing that in front of your kids, because what has your kids got to do with that? That makes you a sucker, for real. Don't do that BS in front of your kids, all right? That's not cool, because your kids don't need to be traumatized by that. You already having issues. If you're an alcoholic, sometimes that can travel in the family. If the kids are seeing that or whatever, they may grow up and think that's the way to handle their problems or whatever. And then you threatening suicide and stuff like that. What do you think your kids are learning? They going through it too. You having this problem or whatever, which you created by cheating and by having an affair. They going through it too now. So now you're putting them in a position where they're stressed, and they might think alcohol is the answer for them too. So yeah, we don't get down like that. So she's saying that he's manipulating the kids and he's put hands on her or whatever. You already know that this is a no-no, especially in the United States. This is not something that you can do or whatever. You risking your future. I mean, I know you ain't been working, because you ain't worked in the last 4 to 5 years. So that's not a good thing either. Maybe you need to get something to do and to be responsible for. That might help you out, number one. But yeah, you putting your hands on a woman and all that kind of stuff or whatever behind your nonsense. This is not cool. So I don't feel like she should stay with you. I don't know why she would. I mean, I wouldn't stay in a situation with a woman that's doing that to me or in this type of abusive relationship. I'm going to cut that off. So that's why she's cutting you off, because you cutting up. All you got to do is fly right. If you can't get right, then let it go. You got to let it go. So I don't even know why you're fighting. I don't even know why you got lawyers. What you want her money for? What you need her retirement for? Because you can't take care of yourself as a man? Come on, man. You jumping in doing grown man things and you're not ready to be a grown man. You can't do this. You know what I'm saying? You jumping out there marrying people and having kids with people, and you not even in control of yourself and your own emotions. Come on, man. We got to talk serious about this. Like, you can't do grown man things and not expect grown man consequences or grown man responsibilities. You got to be a grown man about yourself. Get yourself some work. Get off the bottle and treat your kids right. Don't do crazy stuff in front of your kids. Talking crazy in front of them, talking crazy to your wife in front of the kids and all that stuff. Do not traumatize the kids because you can't handle yourself. I don't dig that. So, we're going to go with her side of the story at this point in time because that's the only side that we got. We get his side of the story. Might be a little something different, of course. But I'm just saying, look, we got to accept responsibility for our actions sometimes. If we go out there doing some wild stuff and then it comes back on us, you got to accept the weight. Nobody's going to come save you from yourself. That's crazy. Let's take a look at this next one. This came from That Sentence 7335. And in the divorce Reddit, it says, my biggest regret is marrying my husband. All right, so let's see why that's your biggest regret. It said, any moms out there who stayed for the kids and found enjoyment in it? If yes, how did you do it and not lose your mind? So some backstory. Yeah, we're going to need some backstory here. So after reading some stories on here, I've concluded my husband is not the worst husband out there. It's funny how that works, right? You think you living with Godzilla and everybody out, there's other people out here with King Kong and his little brothers. So, but she said, he's just not what I want or need. We're going to come back to that. At this point, I don't even want anyone outside of my kids. Does this feeling ever change, go away, or improve? Now I just have so much resentment because I'm not where I thought I would be in life. And marrying my husband and having to move so often for work, watching him promote and become more dedicated to work than our family really has just whittled what love and admiration was there in the beginning. Is this normal? Do I just suck it up and move forward for another rest of my life? All right, I'm going to go in a little bit. So, I feel like I need to go in just a little bit right here. So, all right, we're going to skip over the part to stand for the kids or whatever like that. I don't believe that you should really just stay for the kids. I think they should be a consideration or whatever. But if you're a toxic person, you're not helping the kids by being around. Yeah, so you don't have the worst husband. You got a decent man. He's working, right? Remember our last story, dude ain't worked for 4 or 5 years. He's drinking and all that stuff. Terrible. But you got a guy that's working. And not only is he working, he's dedicating himself and he's making himself, more valuable by getting promoted at work. And when he gets promoted at work, what does he get? He gets more money. Maybe he gets more benefits. Maybe he gets more time off. Maybe he has, more clout there or whatever, decision-making ability that makes him feel good as a man. But with that comes responsibility. It comes time. It's going to come, responsibilities where you got to spend more time. The company's going to be expecting more of you because you are the example now. You're the leader now. You're getting in positions that are requiring you to lead folks, and folks are depending on your leadership to keep them employed, to make good decisions, and to run the departments and to deal with all the stress of that type of thing. This is what your husband is. And now you're upset because he's moving on in his life and he's progressing. Okay, so I think we forget sometimes, like, you're one when you get married. So him getting a promotion at work is you getting the promotion at work. Him making more money is you making more money. You the same. You won when you get married. And I think the idea is that you're competing. You're not competing with him. If you don't feel fulfilled, then you've got to deal with that in a different way, right? You got to talk to him about your lack of fulfillment. Right? If you want to have more career success and all that type of stuff, then you're going to have to strive for that. Maybe it's going to require you to put in effort that you don't even believe that you can put in. Maybe it's going to require you to reach down deep and handle your home responsibilities and the kids and your husband and still perform. And you could say, oh, woe is me. I shouldn't have to do that. But that's what the situation requires. Right? You sound like somebody who'd be in the middle of the ocean, see a shark come in and be like, I shouldn't have to swim faster. No, you going to swim or what? Or you going to swim or you're going to get ate up? You got to decide what you want to do. So it's your perspective that's wrong in this situation. So I get it. It's hard to see somebody else maybe progress when you feel like you're ambitious and maybe you wanted to progress in a certain way or whatever, but you chose a situation where that you were married and that you're going to, go be with this person or whatever. I don't think they said that they have kids. Yeah, she stayed for the kids. So she had kids, right? So you chose to have children with this man. You chose to marry this man. This man was working. You probably married him because he was somebody that you could look up to as far as like working, that your kids could look up to and say, oh, my father has a career. He's working. He's a man that provides. That's why you chose him. And now that he's doing the job, you don't like it? Suppose he quit. Then what you gonna do? You want the less money? You want the unemployment checks? You want to be standing in the grocery line praying that the card go through, the transaction go through? Or you want that man to be at work doing his thing, getting promoted and making sure y'all got a good home life? What do you really want? Sometimes we just get things that we think we want, and then it's not good enough no more because we got it. Stop that. Stop that. For real. All I'm saying is, I don't think that you suck it up. I think it's normal for what you're feeling because that's normal in our society and the way that we've kind of been raised and the way the culture kind of has worked in the United States and the American dream and how all of that works. I think, this is a little bit normal. This is something that people normally go through. I'm not going to say you're abnormal for going through it. I just want you to think about it in a different way. And that's what I'm here for. The Big D channel, that's what we do around here. We think about it in a different way. And we throw a few jabs at you here and there. But it's just to make you think. It's not that we don't love you. We love you a lot. We love everybody. We want everybody to win. And sometimes you got to talk tough and you got to give them the tough message because that's the one that's going to let them win. Just wanting to jar you out of your thought process for a second and just rethinking, because if you rethink it, you're going to find out that you can make changes that's going to take your life and go from here to all the way up here. And it's not going to require you to have a career or a promotion or anything like that. You could literally change your mind and have your life go from this level to this level. But, if you have the idea that, oh, I'm compromising or I'm settling, then you got to deal with why you think you're compromising or you're settling. But you got a man that's working and doing his thing or whatever. Why would you tear that up? Keep telling y'all about destructive mentalities or having things to destroy. You should have enough on your plate already. You got the kids, you got all that stuff. Are you dedicated to them? How are you dedicated to them? Their schoolwork, their school activities or whatever, and then finding things for yourself to do. Start something on your own. This is the world of information. You can make videos like this and make money from your house. I'm not making no money because y'all don't subscribe. I only got 16 subscribers. Y'all be watching 1 minute of the video. So I ain't gonna make no money off this. But all I'm saying is you're at home. You can make money from your living room. You can be successful from your living room with the kids there. It's all in how you wanna look at it. You could have the best of both worlds. You got an income coming in from your husband. You're going to eat fine. The kids are going to be taken care of. They're going to have school clothes. They're going to have all of that stuff. They're going to have everything that they need. And all you need to do is find something that you can do. You got the ability to find something that works, and you have the ability to fail. Most people don't have that. They don't have the time to fail until they reach and find something that's successful. When you have that, you got everything. Time is everything. So I want you to think about it from a different perspective. Don't think about tearing up your marriage. Think about how you can build it up. What can you add to it that's going to build it up? How can you be more supportive of your husband with him out working and him getting promoted and taking the responsibilities that he's taking? He's not just gone for 12 hours a day or whatever it is. He's not just out there in the ether, hanging around a pool hall or something or getting drunk. That man's out there working. He's got to make decisions. He's taking on complex issues and problems and dealing with people's attitudes and the boss's attitude and people putting pressure on him for things. And he's still worrying about how to buy you a birthday present and get the kids the Christmas presents. I think we dismiss men and what they go through because you don't walk in his shoes and you can't see what he's going through. 9 times out of 10, you never see the stresses that he has and the things that he's going through. So don't crap on your man and don't try to break what he has and what he's worked so hard to build for you guys. Don't try to break it just because you can't see. Put yourself in position to see. That's all I can say. Well, I'm going to break this one here because it looks like, we've been going on like 30 minutes here. And I went on a little bit of a rant or whatever like that. It seemed like it got a little serious or whatever. We're going to shoot another video and we're going to have a little more laughs and all that kind of stuff. But this is what we do on the Big D channel. Looks like we got a new little setup here. It's a little bit faster for me to work, and easier for me to do. I can show you the stuff on the screen and all that stuff or whatever. I'm going to get better at doing it. This is the Big D channel. I'm the Big D. Like, subscribe. Peace.
Can a man make mistakes? Is he eligible for redemption? Will it really hurt your spirit to make this one exception? If I did you wrong, am I wrong for doing you wrong? If we get back on and make a promise to get along, would you take me back? My bad. I'm back. Would you take me back? My bad. I'm back.